Are network marketing products expensive? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. Hi, I'm Tim Sales. If we've not met yet, I've been in the network marketing industry for about 30 years. I've made millions of dollars. And one of the other things that I did during my retirement was to consult a couple of hundred network marketing companies. And that's going to really come into play in this particular video. We're going to be talking about, are network marketing products expensive? Well, first of all, that is a impossible generality. If you happen to have seen the other video that I did having to do with where did network marketing get its reputation, and I talk about the media and I explained how they use generalities to prove their bias, all right? And so, first of all, if somebody says that, it's a generality because there's no way that they can know all products in the network marketing industry. Nor do they know all raw ingredients that go into those products. And I'm talking about skincare, I'm talking about hair care, I'm talking about electronics, I'm talking about all kinds of products, right? And then second of all, how could they have compared them to all? Like, to what? All of Amazon products or all of Walmart products or all, right? You see, it's a complete gross generality. And so I'm going to dive into this particular topic because it's a very interesting topic. Okay, so the very first question that we need to really address is price most important in business? Well, to Walmart, I'd say yes, right? Because that is their value proposition. And I remember as a boy that Dollar General store was at that time the price king. And then Kmart came in and took them out. And I don't know if you've noticed, but Amazon seems to be taking out Walmart, at least in terms of the stock market percentages. And so being the lowest priced product is not very good for businesses, okay? And so, so in some situations, price is the most important thing. And I've noticed that in all people, right? I've noticed it even in super wealthy people, and I've noticed it also in people who can barely scrape by, but somehow they've got an iPhone, right? Somehow they've got a big TV. Somehow they've got some of these things that, that go outside of price being the most important thing, all right? And so, so when you look, if price was the number one across the world or across America, then you would say every single person is going to have a $13,000 car because that's the least expensive car in 2019, okay? And so then you look over and you compare it to a $500,000 car. Who in their right mind would pay $500,000 more dollars for the, it'll do the same thing. The car will do the same thing that car is going to do. It's going to pick up groceries, right? Well, evidently there's something else to it. Then a person, you know, like wants to feel cool or wants to do something. So there's some other thing that's playing, right? These two seats is first class airplane tickets. Are they worth it or is it overpriced? Well, in my world, if I'm flying from, you know, let's say California to Vegas, I don't need first class tickets. But if I fly to Korea or Australia, yeah, I'm gonna spend that $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. All right, and the reason being is that, you know, a lot of times I get off the airplane having to go right straight to work. Okay, and so so it depends on the person, is what I've found, is whether or not something is overpriced, and then also it depends upon their education on certain topics. All right, so let me dive a little bit deeper into these. Okay, so is there any difference between this bag and this knockoff bag? All right, so this is Ferragamo. It's basically a $1,000 bag. You can get a knocked off version for $89. Now I know some people who say a bag is a bag, right? But I know when I carry like a backpack on an airplane or something like that, I have a brand that I have utter loyalty to because the zippers don't break, okay? And so I know that if that strap breaks or something like that, okay, well, you can buy 10 of them for the price that you'd buy that one. And I don't know that that one won't do it. Okay, so I'm uneducated in that particular topic. But this topic I know. And so you can go to Express Suits and you can get this wool polyester blend for $118. Okay? And I know what it looks like when you come off an airplane with it, right? Or when you drive to the restaurant in it. It's going to be completely wrinkled in the back and you're going to have a hard time getting those wrinkles out. Where if you get a wool silk blend, you may pay a whole lot more money, but it's going to last you a whole lot longer and it's going to look nice all the time. Okay? And so that is, from an education standpoint, that certain things I will splurge on, if you will, and that happens to be one of them. And I think everybody is that way in particular topics. Is there any difference between this meal and this meal? Why in the world would you ever spend $14 instead of $15 instead of $5? Right? It doesn't make any sense unless it matters to you, because obviously that's going to have a different effect on your body than that is. But some people, because they don't have knowledge in particular areas or they don't care about that part of it, right? They're going to choose this meal over this meal. And then now let's dig down into some products. All right, so I've seen a lot of raw ingredients that go into products. I have stepped up to the shelf of, let's say, a department store or a grocery store, and I've looked at ingredients and I've looked at the price, and I know that it's impossible to have the product marked the price that it is. All right, in other words, they had to really change some ingredients somewhere. All right, or not all the ingredients are in that bottle. Okay, so this is a maitake extract, a mushroom, and you can buy it for $68 a kilo or $2,600 a kilo, and that one is far superior with a ton of studies to back it up. Okay, but if you just look at the back of the label, then it's just going to say maitake extract or something like that, standardized, or some specific words on that. Okay, so bergamot, all right, so $32 a kilo or $215 a kilo. Okay, so is it worth it? Well, if you happen to have read the studies on these things and health matters to you, then yeah, it really does matter. All right. How about grapeseed extract? You can get it for $20 a kilo and you can get it for $450 a kilo. And this particular one has 120 patents on it and 700 studies to back up their results from it. All right. So that's what I mean when I say that some people need education on these things in order to make better buying decisions. So if there's anything that I feel that network marketing is the best at, is when a product needs explanation, then it's where network marketing shines, because we're able to have a conversation with somebody and educate them and kind of fill in that knowledge gap of, if they want to make a decision to have a better product, then we can explain it to them. And I'm not saying that everybody has to do that. I know that there are people who just prefer to ignore this whole side of life, and that's fine. You know, it's your life. So, but for those people who do, and those are the people that I'm after in terms of customers. And I'm not after the people who don't want to make that change. But people who do, they like to know how the product is different. So anytime somebody says to me, oh, well, your products are expensive or something like that, I normally ask, compared to what? And that sort of opens up the conversation, because they're comparing it to something, right? And then I end up somewhere saying, well, I would rather question, why are yours so cheap, right? Are they made in the United States? Do you know where the raw ingredients are coming from? Do you know which variant that they're using in your product? What steps did they omit in the testing procedure? Right? Because the the raw ingredients have to be tested to validate that they are what they say they are. And then they have to be tested to ensure that they don't have contaminants. And you can't just say, do you have any contaminants in a whole container? You have to say, okay, name the contaminants, and then each one of those is a test. So why are your products so inexpensive? Like, what's going on with that, right? And so that's a question that I commonly get. There's not been a single person in my life that hasn't said the products are expensive, or why are they so expensive, or something like that. It's always going to be the case, and what they're trying to do is justify spending more or justifying the price itself, right? Okay, so let's say that I have an organic apple and I have a traditional apple, as they called. I don't know why they're called traditional, but anyway. Are organic apples overpriced? Or are they worth the price? Well, in my world, they're worth the price, and far better. Okay, why? Well, because I happen to have read this study some years ago, and it's the British Journal of Nutrition, and what it's basically doing is it's comparing organic crops to pesticide crops. And number one is that there was an 18 to 69% higher concentrations of antioxidant compounds. And the antioxidants are what kind of like holds back some of the dangerous diseases out there. And so that's a lot of difference. So that mattered to me. And then number two is that it had 10 to 100 times fewer pesticide residues. All right, well the pesticides, what are they for, right? When you look at the word sides, it means to kill, pests. And an accumulation of a certain amount of that stuff has to have some kind of an effect on the body. And so I was sitting with a guy, he's a consultant to the CDC, and he said something very interesting to me. He said, Tim, whenever you consume a product or an ingredient that the body doesn't recognize, can't do anything with, it quarantines it. Right? And he said that is one of the fundamental things that people don't think about when they're taking in substances, whatever kind of substances that the body doesn't recognize. All right? And so it hangs on to them, trying to figure out what to do with them. All right? So if a person wants to, what was one other point I want to make here? One of the things that came out of this study is that when you spray pesticide onto a plant, then the plant doesn't have to defend itself against pests. And so it doesn't build an immune system. Well, that immune system is the very thing that we get our antioxidants from. Not only that, it was an entirely different plant if it had pesticides sprayed on it. It tended to contain more sugar, more starches. And so that's going to have an effect on blood sugar levels. All right? So all of these things combined together told me that, I got to do organic, right? That's the way, that's what it caused in me. And it doesn't have to do that with everybody. So if somebody doesn't mind eating pesticides, then buy the cheaper brand, right? Okay, so one of the questions that come out and the statements that are made sometimes is, do commissions paid to reps increase the price of a product? Well, the answer to that is, of course it does. All right, but is it any different? And the next thing I'm going to show you is why. Okay, so the way it works is that here you have a network marketing company. All right, it's no different than any other kind of company. It's got executives, it's got employees, it's got, a building, it does research and development, it does various different things. And they have kind of like a whole pie chart as to where they allocate their resources to. And one of those is advertising. They pay their advertising dollars towards representatives that sell products. That is where their advertising budget goes to. And so this transaction right here is separate from this advertising budget. So this is a lady who is selling this box to this gentleman, and she's going to earn a commission. Let's say 30% out of that. That's a transaction all by itself. It has nothing to do with this part up here. The advertising budget is going to allocate and say, okay, so this person right here brought that person in and trained them in the business. And so they're going to give a override commission, meaning extra. It's an extra commission. All right. And so then the person who was responsible for bringing that person in, they may pay 10% to, and the person who brought that person in may get 5% to. And so that's their advertising budget. That is how they go about doing their advertising. I had a guy who said he was in product development in a network marketing company, and he said, he goes, Tim, I can make those products and sell them for a lot cheaper than what the company is. And I said, okay. And so he made the product, and then he put it up for sale. And of course, he then had to advertise. And once he started advertising, he realized the cost of advertising and realized that there's no way that he could keep it at that price. And so he then had to raise the price. And then after a while, he quit. Okay, that's not what you want when you purchase a product. And, maybe somebody has an inexpensive product and, compared to other things, but are they going to be in business? Are they going to later have to create shortcuts and things like that with the ingredients in the product to continue to maintain to sell that product once they add in the advertising cost? Okay, so of course it costs money, extra money to pay the reps, to train other reps and to get other reps, right? Of course it does. But is it any different than, say, LeBron James getting $90 million from Nike? Do you think that adds a little bit of money to those shoes? Do you think Kevin Durant's $300 million commission or, like whatever they call it, rights or whatever? And so how about Beyonce? Do you think that soda costs a little bit more because they paid her $50 million and in order to drink that Pepsi there? Yeah, and how about the Louis Vuitton bag that they gave Angelina Jolie $10 million for? So instead of paying celebrities or instead of paying advertising on television, network marketing just simply pays it to the person who's going to add value to the prospect or to the customer if they choose to buy it. And so that's the fundamental difference between network marketing and any other type of business. So let me do a quick summary here. Number one, network marketing products are expensive. It's a generality, and there's no way to define that. And each person, they buy based upon the value to them, okay? And it'll always be that way. Everybody splurges on some things, and everybody is frugal on other things. And it's kind of their value choice there. Network marketing helps bridge the knowledge gap so that people can make better buying decisions. And it's not to say that I haven't seen companies that their products were overpriced based upon the raw ingredients that are in there, because I have seen that. But I've seen that everywhere as well. And that is why it's valuable to have somebody who is a professional in network marketing who is able to differentiate these things. And then network marketing advertising budget is in line. In other words, the percentage that they pay out for advertising is in line to all other companies that are out there who are marketing. And so I hope that's helpful. Please do me a favor, comment down below. Let me know what you think about this, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you.